The role play is absolute classic that is regularly used in almost every assessment center. Stay tuned and I will share 6 tips to help you master assessment center role playing. My name is Sarah. I'm a business psychologist and as a trainer I prepare candidates for tricky job interviews and assessment centers. Role-playing is a simulation of a one-to-one conversation. Behind this playful name is a challenging assessment center task. Depending on the requirements of the position being filled, this can be an appraisal with an employee, a customer, or colleague. Based on written instructions, the assessment center participant is given a short preparation time, 10 minutes for example, to become familiar with the assignment. And then the role-playing begins. The role of the discussion partner, meaning the employee, customer or colleague, is played by a professional role player or actor. Assume that the person you are talking to is initially anything but thrilled with your plan and that they will offer resistance or react emotionally. Do you get discouraged? End up in a dead end? Or do you navigate your conversation partner and your conversation in the desired direction? Not an easy accomplishment, but one that is attainable with the right kind of sensitivity and these 6 conversation management skills. First, before the conversation starts, be sure to define your conversation goals, because it will not always be possible to achieve 100% of the goal set in the role instruction. Remember that the person you are talking to also has a goal in mind. Make yourself aware of the minimum result that would be acceptable to you. In some cases, you may have to make compromises in order to reach a solution. Second tip: use the name of your conversation partner. Even if it sounds strange, memorize the name of your counterpart given in the role instruction. Everyone likes to hear their own name, so address them by name 2 or 3 times during the call. It adds a personal touch to the conversation and gives your conversation partner a feeling of being treated individually. However, I have experienced conversations in the assessment center that fail immediately upon greeting, because the candidate has forgotten the name of their counterpart or mixes up their name. Wilson instead of William, for example. This may cause irritation right from the beginning of the conversation, and this is avoidable. Third tip: assume that the instructions do not provide you with all the information you need to solve the problem. It is often part of the task to collect the missing pieces during the discussion. You will only be offered the missing pieces with the right questions and queries. Fourth tip: listen actively. Many candidates ask few questions as a matter of form, but do not listen carefully enough to the answers. It is precisely the examination situation and the time pressure that tempts us to prepare the next step in our thoughts instead of listening actively. However, the conversation partner often reveals important information between the lines, which is then lost quickly. You can strengthen active listening by keeping eye contact with your conversation partner, by being physically present, and by occasionally summarizing what he says with your own words to check whether you have understood important points in the right way. My 5th tip: convince instead of persuading. What do you do if your counterpart is not yet convinced of your plan and has doubts? In many cases, I have experienced the following: the participant exaggerates, repeats the same arguments a second and third time, and makes an urgent appeal to the conversation partner. That is persuasion. Convincing, by contrast, requires the understanding of the other person's point of view and not just assuming to know it. This only works if you question objections and concerns and deal with them actively. And last but not least, commitment. Summarize the results of your conversation again briefly and let them be confirmed by your counterpart. Arrange the closing procedure and, if necessary, a concrete follow-up appointment. If you implement these 6 tips in the assessment center roleplay, you've already won half the battle. If you liked this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Good luck with your assessment center!